Hello everybody, welcome to Advanced Art. So this video is for our year 2, our year 3, and our year 4 students. It's also for drawing and painting and art metals and jewelry and sculpture and pottery and anybody else who's a year 2, 3, or 4 student. So it's a pretty general video. I'm going to kind of talk about a couple things here and then I will shut this down and I'll do another video on Schoology just a little bit so you understand how things are laid out. And then you can kind of ask me any questions. Probably for the most part, this is how year 2, 3, and 4 is probably going to be taught. Because I can take a lot more time to go over something with you like our projects or like this video than I could normally. Because I have the group that's in there are year 1 students. And you were in there before, and you know how nervous you might have been, not sure what was kind of going on or anything. So I spend a lot of time with year 1s. As year 2 students, I honestly don't worry about you that much because you got an A- in that year 1 class. And usually students who get an A- or better really do have the skills necessary to not only make really good artwork, but also to work, somewhat independently. Hopefully you have 1 or 2 students, and friends, in your class. So you guys can kind of bounce ideas off and try to understand something. Now, obviously I will still always be there if you need something, okay? And I will really make it a point to always come in after I kind of get them going and just see how you're doing. And make sure that if you have any questions, then this is your time to ask, okay? So when you come in, I'm probably gonna have you, probably gonna say, hey, jump on Schoology, go to whatever I'm gonna ask you, to watch this video, so you kind of understand what's kind of going on. Once this is done, you're going to be going on to a worksheet that is gonna look something like this. And this is how everything is laid out. Now this is drawing 1. And yours would say, painting 3 or drawing 2 or sculpture 4 or whatever, but it's going to be in this format. And so everything that you need is going to be on this sheet. So and it's always going to be, the top 1, 2, or 3 things that are in Schoology. So it should be pretty easy for you to find. And I'm going to be going over that here either in a little bit or I'm going to go over that right now and I come back to it. Hello, I want to show you the layout in a year 2, 3, or a year 4 Schoology page, especially your first day. So regardless, I know this says drawing 2, but it applies to my sculpture 2 student. It applies to my drawing 4 students, it applies to anybody who is in year 2, 3, or 4. Okay, because I just want to touch base with you real quick on how things are laid out. So at first, on the very top up here, is what I've kind of told you when you walked in. It says, go on to Schoology, and the very top says, watch me your first day. So you're going to watch this, and this, what I'm doing right now, talking is in this video. So it just kind of outlines a little bit on how things are on here. And then down here it says done at school, your value scales and your art toolbox. On that one, just kind of same thing with painting, it's just that is the one you click on to check out your cubby and to check out your toolbox. Okay, so if I clicked on it, what it's going to take me to is this. And this is the same for all the projects. I usually try to give you an idea of what the projects are. I remind you there is no choice or competition for this school year. And then I come down here. So it says watch video explaining what drawing 2, 3, and 4 are. And that's, again, this video. And then you can click on a copy of your worksheet, look it over, and make sure it's filled out as a hard copy. So we don't use Cami. So when I click on this, and you should have these available to you. So they should be on the wooden table that's out there. So in this case, this is our drawing one. The painting one looks very different. The sculpture one looks different. You just got to find the rubric that I have in there for you, or not rubric, but the checkout sheet I have for you. Okay, but nothing gets filled out on Cami. So even as an all virtual student, nothing gets filled out on Cami. I don't like Cami. It was just a disaster last semester. Um, and then come down here, it says, go get a letter toolbox from the new year 2, 3, 4 copy section. And then toolbox checkout video. Again, you click on that. You just make sure you have all the supplies and you know what the supplies are. Because that's why I spent that time making that video up. So I know it takes time, but I didn't like the idea that sometimes I'd had students that spent the whole time in drawing 2 or 3, and then they never even touched their chamois. And it's like, well, what is that? So I never actually taught it. So that video that explains, what the tools are is so important for you to get better at drawing, because you understand the tools that are inside your toolbox. Okay. This one's kind of specific to drawing. It says complete value scales and quick draw exercise. It's an activity, and take your art kit home with you, as well as your art, as well as your toolbox. You should be taking both, for at least for drawing and for painting. You should be taking painting. You got to talk to me about it. Drawing should be taking their toolbox home with them, because your first project is your value scale or your value drawing. So you need those tools. And then you'll have your cubby, and I have other containers if you want to kind of put oil pastels in or whatever. You can do that if you needed to. So, but that just kind of explains how this is kind of laid out. So it's done at school, done at home, because I want you to check out like your toolbox here, because I don't feel like that makes any sense doing that at home. And then done at school, that's your oil pastel project. And if you're looking at this, and you're at home your first day, because you're supposed to watch this video, what you can do is you can click on this one. And then you're going to come on here, and then you're going to click on this link right here, which explains the project. And just kind of go from there. So hopefully that makes a little more sense. You can try emailing me, but usually the first day of school, I'm talking a lot. I don't get to sit down on my computer very fast, unless during like a prep or a lunch or something like that. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Other than that, hopefully that makes a little more sense, and just I'll chat with you later. Thanks. The big thing right now is that you need to check out your toolbox. Okay, your toolbox is going to be in here. If you are, this is not completed yet. So it's one of the things I want to do for a couple years. So you should never have to go in where the year ones are at to grab your stuff. I've wanted for a long time to make your own little cubby area. It's not little. So you don't have to go back into that room and grab stuff, because it's probably kind of weird for you sometimes. Okay. So in here, you're going to find toolboxes. And if you're in drawing, you would have something that looks like this. And if you were in painting, you're going to try to find a cubby that has this. And if you remember art, metals, and jewelry, those have their own, those cubbies that are in the lockers that are over there. And same thing with sculpture. Sculpture 2 students, you're not really going to have one of these kind of cubbies. You never did. You always had one of the larger cubbies that we could always kind of throw a mosaic in. So you'll have that, and you'll also have a cubby over there as well. So hopefully you can find your stuff, and you watch that video so you can get all those tools checked out. That's a big thing that I'm hoping you can get done your first day, is you can get that worked on. So also as a reminder that we are not going to be doing our choice competition projects this semester either. Typically a year 2, 3, or 4 student would have the 3 assignments that I would assign, but then you'd also have an independent project that you would have to do kind of on your own time. Or when you got done with a project, you'd work on that. So you don't have to do that this year. Things are busy and they're chaotic, and there just wasn't a big need for it. I think it's important, but I don't think it's as important as doing these other projects that are laid out for you a little better. So other than that, again, congratulations. Not too many people make it to this, to this level, especially if you're a year 3 or 4 student. Um, and if you are a year 4 student, you have a very different set of projects that I want to kind of talk to you a little bit more about. And remember, as a year 4 students, you also get your name engraved on your plaque that is going to be in the entryway in the other room. So congratulations. So other than that, I will talk to you later, and let me know if you have any questions.